Good afternoon, Danvers. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News special edition for the elections. This is April 27th, 2021, and we're airing the show at 3 p.m. due to conflict of, issues that we had with other shows. I'm Mark Zubarek, and we have an invited guest today, Michael Hagan. John Toomey is currently unavailable, and due to being cautious about the COVID issues. Today, we will focus on elections. The agenda and opinions are solely by the Topics of the Town News host and commentators. And David, if you can put up my favorite clip, I want to share something with the audience, is that I miss the good old days. Remember when you could actually have an opinion without offending somebody. And this is so appropriate in these times, and I wanted to share that with you. Now, this program was slated to be an opportunity for the Board of Selectmen candidates to present their 3, 4, 5 minute presentations of their positions. But Topics of the Town News often finds ourselves agreeing with the Danvers Board of Selectmen's goals, but we often disagree with its means to achieve them. More and more through a lack of transparency and espousing half-truths. As we stated years ago, we are witnessing assertive decisions and actions that leave some residents and town volunteers and employees feeling either pushed to the side or completely ignored. We have seen people who don't agree with the current establishment get booted off boards and commissions. It's too bad because we believe differences in opinion forge better and stronger policies and decisions. We are concerned with the Danvers Town Hall turnover and employee retention and the financial costs to taxpayers. Over the past several months, we have seen and heard of serious erosion in morale among town employees. We need the selectmen to bring independent voice to the board. Danvers voters on Tuesday, May 4th, are in need of a voice to reflect the current business outlook for Danvers. We mostly need someone willing to represent the Danvers residents who will put their trust into the 2 new independent voices to the board. We need someone who listens when people talk, understands what they're saying, and wants to consider both sides of an issue before making any decisions. We believe listening speaks louder than words. We have extended, or I have extended, an invitation to the 4 candidates for the 2 seats for the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board. And I have heard from 2, and they have declined to come on the show to present their views. And the other 2 have not even responded to my email. So it's a loss for them, but an opportunity that is being missed. I, as the producer, decided to concentrate this program on the select board race. However, I take some liberties with the library trustee candidate, Mike Hagan, and the school committee candidate, Mark Zubarek. So what we'll do is do a presentation on our qualifications and our positions for the office that we both hold.
Excuse me, Mark.
Yes.
I'm here.
So, Rick Bencourt just signed on, I think. Do you see him?
Oh, we have Mr. Betancourt.
He just signed on.
I told you I was getting on. I just had to get off a call first. So I told you.
Well, then you are one of the invited guests that has accepted my invitation, and I appreciate it, and I love your background.
Well, thank you very much.
So what we'll do is we'll have a little bit of a presentation from Michael Hagan as a candidate for the library trustees. And then we'll have one from Mr. Betancourt. And then I'll follow up at the end. So, Mike Hagan, would you take over?
By all means. Welcome, Mr. Bencourt. I wish you well. Wish you well.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate the kind words, and I'm honored to be here.
My name is Dana Michael Hagan, and I'm asking you for your vote as a candidate for re-election to the PB Institute Library Board of Trustees on Tuesday, May 4th. For almost 20 years, I have served as a library trustee and recently as chairman. Patrons of our library, I'm sure you all agree that the PB Institute Library is a particular source of civic pride in our community. This is due to the beautiful building it occupies and, most importantly, the excellent services it provides to our citizens. As chairman and a trustee, I have felt a particular obligation to protect and nurture this indispensable civic asset. As chairman, I've had the pleasure of working with a cohesive board of trustees and library director who have continued to work closely and cooperatively with a yearly budget request that is reasonable and will allow us to retain state certification, remain eligible for the maximum amount of state aid to public libraries, and provide the level and variety of quality services that our citizens have come to expect. We are pleased that we have historically been able to accomplish these ends while maintaining the library's portion of the town's operating budget around 1.25%. We believe that the library provides tremendous value for the money. As chairman, I have made sure that our director continues to work closely and cooperatively with our outstanding Public Works Department to keep the building a signature property in this community safe, beautiful, and useful. This is not always an easy task in a 130-year-old building, but we are grateful to our citizens for their willingness to support us, as well as the support of the town manager's office. Thank you very much. I look forward to continuing my long-standing service to the community with your support, and please vote for Dana Michael Hagan on Tuesday, May 4th.
Hey, Michael, thank you very much. And one of the things that I'm interested in is you have served on the library trustees for how many years now?
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years. And that is a dedicated service to the wonderful facility that we cherish in this town. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I look forward to more.
Now, what I need to do is introduce Mr. Rick Betancourt, who is the candidate for the two open seats that are, being contested on the Board of Selectmen or Select Board. That's what they call them now. So, Rick, welcome, and thank you for coming on the show, and this is an opportunity for you to shine.
Thank you very much, Mark, and I appreciate the opportunity. I want to start off by saying great job, Mike, with your monologue and your intro. I know I had the pleasure of serving with you as a library trustee for 4 years. I thought we did some great stuff. You were a fabulous chairman, and I think you did a phenomenal job. And I love our property over there. It's one of the most iconic pieces of property that we have in Danvers, and it's always good to know that good people like yourself and the library trustees are there to sort of protect it, keep it in line, don't let it fall out of sorts, and keep working hard to make it what it is. So great job. And
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being on the trustee.
Pleasure having you there. I miss you there.
Yeah, I had to step off as one of my. I was honored to have taken over a position nationally that I had to step away, and I didn't want to, but just wasn't fair. So with that, I didn't have any prepared remarks. I like to sort of speak from the heart. In Danvers, my name is Rick Betancourt. I'm going to be asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 4th, as a candidate for one of the 2 open seats for a select board. I feel that, one of the first things that people always ask candidates in this town is how long have you been a Danvers resident? And I find it's a way to identify the names that have been here the longest. And I think it should be asked in the context to find out what experience you have within the town and what you bring to the board and what you're going to do. I've been here long enough to know that I feel I have the necessary experience on various committees within the town and professionally to assist the board in making decisions for our constituents moving forward in the next 3 years. As I mentioned earlier, I served as a library trustee for about 4.5 years. I've also been a town meeting member for 9 years. I volunteered on the DEEP committee, which was a phenomenal committee with our school. I've also been a part of the Peabody Conservation Commission, and I was there for about 5 years in the Peabody Conservation Commission. From October of 2018 to 2019, I was president for the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, which is a large 501c6 nonprofit. We have over 7,000 members in 50 states, and I was very busy advocating for what Board of Selectmen do. I was advocating for my constituencies, and that represented 7,000 members in 50 states on various mortgage-related compliance regulatory issues. Now, some have made comments that it's not a national issue or a national. This is local and this is local. It's in the applicability of what you do as an individual that governs and provides the ability for you to do a great job in a local setting such as a town selectman. So, even though some may question the authenticity or question the national experience that I have, both in the mortgage regulatory reform legislative aspect, it transcends absolutely into what we're supposed to do here in Danvers. So the experience that I bring and the passion that I have and I love for this town is gonna, I feel, be a great asset to the Danvers Board of Selectmen. I'm running on 3 terms. I believe term limits are important. Some will say that the election is my term limit. However, I feel that in a town like Danvers, with the election system set up the way it is, it's very difficult for those that aren't born and raised here to get their name out. We have a very short time frame to pull papers, submit papers, advocate for yourself, canvass a community, and then generate interest in what it is that you bring to the table. Literally, it's only 45 to 60 days, and I don't feel that's enough, in my personal opinion. I don't think that's enough to really get out there and meet the people. So I think that after 3 terms, that's enough for me. I'm done. And if that's God willing, that the constituents keep voting me in, I'm going to be a very big advocate for the members of Precinct 5 on the Beverly Airport issues that we see. Regulatorily speaking, we don't have a lot of oversight there, but we can cohesively create a large movement and a voice to try to do the best we can to keep them in check. I'm going to watch very carefully. I've already started seeing plans of a proposed construction at the corner of Hobart and Maple and their Chapter 40R overlay, and it already looks like there's going to be a builder going for a special permit exceeding the 10,000 maximum commercial mixed-use space down there, and they're going to be pushing 13,000. So I want to be very involved in that as well. I also believe that there's some additional assistance that we can do for our veteran community here in Danvers under Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 22. I think that our disabled veteran community, especially many of them on fixed incomes, perhaps we can look, once we get out of the pandemic, we can explore perhaps increasing the disabled veteran tax exemption. What people forget to realize that our disabled veterans, the service-connected disability income that they bring in, oftentimes is put back into the community. So if we're able to, they tend to be very static, very localized individuals and spend money in their community. And if we're able to provide incentive for them to stay in Danvers, that only helps Danvers in the long run. So that's another issue that I would like to pursue. And that is absolutely at the town meeting. Instead, the Mass General Law states the minimum tax exemptions that we provide, but the town can take up any other exemptions at any point in time at the local authority to decide if we want to help out or not. And it's not the right time right now. We're coming out of a pandemic. Economically, we're in a bit of a crisis here, but it's something that I'd like to look at in the future. So I believe that there's a as police reform, right? So I've heard a lot of commentary of individuals that claim that this bill is not going to affect the Danvers police. It's not a big issue. I wanted to be a part of the leadership for preventative measures. I understand, and I seriously doubt any of the candidates perhaps have read the bill as much as I have, Senate Bill 2963 regarding the police reform bill. It's obvious that the immediate implementation of the bill doesn't automatically affect Danvers police officers or any police officer for that matter. There's 3 different implementation dates in that particular bill, but I wanted to be a part of the leadership for future consideration of that particular bill, because we are seeing it in municipalities across the Commonwealth where they're going above and beyond that particular statute and employing other types of regulations, which I would prefer not to see happen. So I've read the bill. I understand police reform. I've spoken to dozens and dozens and dozens of police officers. And I know what I'm talking about in this particular situation. And I think that having leadership on there that are truly supportive of law enforcement, not just passing a budget, are truly going to be a voice for the law enforcement community is important. And I'm not sure if we've seen enough of that. I'm a good communicator. I'm a great listener. I'm passionate about the people. And recently, I've been watching some of the select board meetings, and to be quite honest, I'm a bit appalled at some of the behavior at some of the select board members and the manner in which they treated some of the constituents when they've come to vote or come to express their concerns about issues within town. I just watched one from in August. I watched one from last week, and I can guarantee you, as a select board member, I will listen to your concerns empathetically, with great concern, and try to employ the best decisions that we can when it comes time. So I really truly hope that you all find it in your good heart to see that I have the experience, the passion, and the concern for the constituents of this town, that I will be a good voice for all of you as a select board candidate. So hope you vote Rick Betancourt come May 4th.
Thank you, Rick. This really goes right back to my original, opening statements. We need someone who listens when people talk and understands what they're saying and wants to consider both sides of an issue before making any decisions. We believe listening speaks louder than words. And that has proven to be the motto that we should all live for in a public environment like we're embarking on. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier is politics is local. And that has happened over and over again over the last 200 years. Everything starts locally. So now I will take an opportunity to present a few facts in regard to my candidacy for the Board of Selectmen. Forgive me, I'm stepping out of that role. I've done that before. The best way to give back to our community is to serve and participate in town government, like we're all participating in. I have dedicated myself to public service for the past 35 years, including elected and appointed positions to town meeting, finance committee, and the select board, and as a interested resident. I will be a valuable voice on the school committee. I am dedicated to listening and providing guidance for the betterment of our schools, which reflect our community values. Here's the listening part again. I will serve as your school committee member without the need for on-the-job training. I am well prepared and have extensive experience in all the functions of local government and public education. The most serious issues the new school committee must consider is a priority to continue during this pandemic and rapidly changing State and local regulations for returning back to school have been frustrating for students, parents, residents, and teachers alike. We must continue this effort. Students deserve a quality education. It must not be hampered by the political restrictions which continue to be imposed on our educators, students, and entire community. Having better communication between the community, teachers, and administrators will help us work together to make sure that the best decisions are made for our students. Now, I have been told and I have been hearing that the school committee is only there for the students. That's not true. The school committee is there for the entire community because the education process in our community is reflective of our values. We are all proud of the commitment that the Danvers community made to support our schools. This includes competitive salaries, which attract quality teachers and administrators, state-of-the-art technology, and great facilities. Our school facilities are the envy of the North Shore. Over the years, the facilities were built to best support our students with feedback from our community. So, the ultimate goal of the school committee, the key elements for the school board to succeed must include independent school committee that must lead and not just follow. Making the education process more open and obvious. Getting community feedback, input, and putting it into action. Improvement of expectations, technology, and standards. Therefore, I ask that you vote for Mark Zubrek on May 4th for one of the 2 open seats on the school committee. It is a time for a change. Now, the telephone, as you hear, hasn't stopped ringing down here because people are very interested in what's going on in our community, especially during these times that we are encountering. So, that is my future role, I hope, to lead and promote the school department in making sure that our students have the best education that we can provide. So, gentlemen, this is a position on the school committee for 2 seats, 2 open seats. Basically, they are vacant. And you, as on the Board of Selectmen, have two open seats, one with an incumbent waiting to fill the seat, but the other one is totally vacant.
Mhm.
And on the library, Mike, I think you have contenders, right?
We have 5 people running for 3 seats, yes.
For 3 seats.
Right.
So that is going to be an interesting, debate that's coming up with the library trustees when the vote takes place. So what I wanted to do is make sure that all of us are in for the election on May 4th, Tuesday, May 4th, at the Danvers High School.
Mhm.
And it starts at 7 a.m. and I think it gets over at 8.
Correct.
So, anything you want to say, Mike, at this stage?
I just want to, you make a good point, and Rick makes a good point. When you talk about the, if elected to the position, that when people need to be heard, they need to be listened to. I wasn't present at the Beverly Airport hearing, I guess it was called a hearing or a meeting, where they divided the crowd and people thought they were being heard, but I think when they left there, I think they knew they were ignored. That it was just everything was for a show, and I think they went there with in their heart to really tell, to say what they really wanted, and it looked like it was just okay, next, you know. Rick Betancourt, I've seen you in action in and out of office as a library trustee. You were a very good trustee, a great listener, always came up with some good ideas.
Thanks.
But I've seen you outside talking to people, and your eyes are always focused on them and what they're saying. I noticed that about you. When you're in a conversation with somebody, you even tell other people, "Excuse me, I'm talking right now." And I've seen that many times.
Thanks, Mike.
And that's important for somebody in an office like that. Mr. Zubrick, you and I have had many conversations, and we've been together a lot of times. And you're also a great listener. You know what you're talking about. Obviously, I've seen you at many meetings in many years at town meeting and etc. But I know you that when you go to ask a question of a board or somebody, you've done your homework and you usually know the answer. And I think that they know that. And so you make people nervous because in the public setting, you ask the question that needs to be answered. And even when you may not get the right answer, it's very clear on your facial expression and the people around you that, you know, that wasn't right. But I think both of you have that quality of listening. And I think that's important.
Well, see, Mike, the roles that I've played, and I think Rick will be playing, are more in response to the general public, because the roles that we promote are based on facts. Because if you go to town meeting or if you go to a regular meeting, you're there to comment on the issues, not on personalities. And the thing is that until we determine what the issues are, we are talking through a hat. I mean, you know, it doesn't do us any good until we know what the answers are. And that's where the study comes into play. You need to exercise a lot of diligence in getting the information beforehand. Even last night, I went to the finance committee meeting, and there was a very interesting presentation made by the Essex Technical, High School, and that's located right on the edge of Danvers and Middleton. There was a lot of discussion yesterday in regards to why are the costs so high. The costs are what their costs are. The issue is why can Essex Tech attract 201 of our students that should be or would have been educated in the town of Danvers? What are they offering that's better than what we can offer to those students? These are two different environments that these students experience. And what they want is a technical education associated with a high school degree, similar to what our students have. So that's one of the things. I knew all the facts because I was involved in establishing the Essex Tech High School back in 97, 98. And as a matter of fact, last night we had Wayne Markey, who is the school committee representative for the town of Danvers at the Essex Tech. And we had a very good, discussion. And the thing is that we are focusing in on the money that's being spent. And I know I have a reputation for being a money man all the time. But the thing is, we have to determine, why is that high school better than our own school in the town of Danvers? Because they provide a different service. And that's where we part ways at that point. Rick?
To piggyback on what you were just saying, my daughter is a student at Essex North Shore Tech, and we have 201 currently enrolled, I believe, Danvers students over there right now. Peabody is the first with about 320, I think. And it is a phenomenal school. The manner in which they communicate to the parents, to the students, it's almost like a collegiate approach to
Right.
education. And it really, I've seen my daughter mature tenfold since being there. And academically, they do academics 5 days, every other 5 days. It's a switch, 5 days academic, 5 days their CTE, and they're academically at the same place as a sophomore as Danvers High School is. Same core studies, direction. So it's a phenomenal school. I understand the cost. I see it in the budget. I know it's about 4.6 million, I believe, is what we contribute to Danvers. And when you break it down on a per student basis, I understand. But like you said, the cost is the cost. It's a fabulous education. It's a beautiful school. They did a great job, and we were very fortunate to be one of the sort of in-district municipalities that are part of it. So, but with that being said, for me, I sort of in closing remarks, I just want to let the people that are watching this know that I will listen to what your concerns are and enact whatever we're able to enact within the regulation of the law. Whatever I have the ability to do, I won't get offended by questions that constituents arise, or personal issues that constituents arise. And I've watched several board meetings that I've heard our selectmen say that they're offended by constituent concerns, and I find that somewhat troublesome for me, because we can't take this personal. This is all about following policy and enacting policy the way that it's read through the Town Manager Act, through our bylaws, through the hierarchy of how the town administration is set up. And the Board of Selectmen, the hierarchy of our town, folks, is the constituents are the boss, then the selectmen, then the town manager, then your department heads. And at the end of the day, the constituencies has the say in what happens, essentially what happens here. And I would encourage everybody to get as involved in the community as possible via town meeting. I mean, I just spoke to I took a call from a concerned constituent, and I'm not even in the office yet. And I said to him, I said, sir, you have 18 town meeting members in your precinct, and you could Google them within seconds. And if you have an issue, then your first job is to hit up every single one of those 18 town meeting members with the same exact email and say, I've got a problem. And then if they don't respond, that's a bad town meeting member. End of story. I've been a town meeting member for 9 years. I can count on one hand how many times constituents have reached out on issues. Hence, I don't believe there's enough communication in the town to the constituency as to what's going on. And I get it. There's a degree of self-accountability that we're supposed to do our own due diligence. I understand that. But I believe that there's also a happy medium where we can do more and then encourage more. So I don't know if that's been done yet. But as I mentioned in the debate, or the forum that we had last Friday, one of my ideas, which was shared with me by a friend of mine who was a selectman in Maine, which I thought was a great idea. And I'm like, I'm going to steal that. And I mean, what if we did a selectman Saturday? We have 2 selectmen, one Saturday in a month, and we just have some coffee and donuts when the pandemic's over. I know for those of you that are watching, like, well, it's all closed. I understand that. When we come out of it, we have 2 selectmen that can't talk about agenda items, violation of open meeting law, but we can certainly have a notepad and a piece of paper and a pen and have a coffee and talk about what your concerns are, write them down, or provide guidance on how to address those. I thought that was a great idea, and I'm going to see if I'm fortunate enough to be voted on. Maybe the select board would agree to that.
Rick, one of the things that the House of Representatives in the state of Massachusetts, like Ted Speliotis or Sally Kearns now, they hold office hours at Town Hall once a month.
Yep.
And they have an opportunity to sit in a Toomey room. I got kicked out of there one time because they were holding their office hours. But that's great. That's the way it should be. And the Board of Selectmen are unapproachable at the moment because all they do is they want to get a call from somebody or even, not to answer the questions, but to give an excuse for their actions. So, but what we, Mike, you got anything to say about that? I mean, you have that exposure with the library trustees, don't you?
Yeah, I get a lot of exposure there. We, although we do have a lot of moving forward, hoping to get plans in place for the reopening, and they are providing a ton of services online for people. The Gordon Room is open at certain hours for browsing, and they've been in touch with. I just got a phone call today. The acting director's been in contact with the town manager's office about moving forward within a few weeks. Getting to the point about listening and the way our town meeting operates, I'm of the opinion that town meeting would be much different and more controversial if the town meeting members were not corralled into offering amendments on questions that come up. In other words, Article 15. If the town meeting member didn't go to somebody and say, I'm going to offer this amendment, then if it came out of nowhere, it would offer some much better discussion among the town meeting. Plus, only certain people get recognized. We saw that at Davis High School a while back at a very important meeting where we thought we had a chance. We thought we were going to be listened to, and we weren't. And again, only certain people, and I can list them. I've been a town meeting member. I've been a town meeting member so long, I think I'm on the plaque down there. Maybe you're on there too, Mark, down in the town hall in the Toomey room. I think there's a plaque with people been on it forever. But what happens is that if they weren't coaxed into just showing their hand about that, then there'd be some discussion. They go to a town meeting school, and they're told what's going to happen. I mean,
this is one of the things I think. It hurts the process because we have an elected town meeting, and we do not have an open town meeting. If it was open town meeting, you'll be able to get into a discussion, a deep discussion with thousands of people in the room. But with an elected office like that, I'm encouraged to see that there are several town meeting members that are running for that position. And this year, I've seen more signs for individuals in their precinct than ever before. So maybe that is a positive thing that's happening, because I've had a lot of questions asked about that. But the thing is that they are sort of reluctant. They don't know what to do. Well, we need to teach them. We need to advise them. So that is one of the things that has happened in my neighborhood. As a matter of fact, I have a gentleman that just took out made up a sign, just like you have your sign. He has one in front of his house and one of his daughter's house. So they are trying. The thing is that elected town meeting is more formal than open town meeting, and I don't know if it's better or not. You have to work within the system with the town moderator to get any action on the town meeting floor, because every time I've tried that it's always it's illegal. It's something that's not working right.
What a surprise.
What a surprise.
What a
But
surprise.
so one of the things that I want to continue, because we're running out of time, guys. David, if you can throw up the Mark Twain quote. And it is something that is happening around us and we don't even know it. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. So, being local government, being local representatives on school committee, board of selectmen, library trustees, town meeting, we have a responsibility to identify these kinds of issues. And we're experiencing that right now. In regard to the school issues, the cost of education has skyrocketed without controls. How has that worked for us? We don't even know that because there's no access to the school committee. The school administration is finally opened up the schools. And I even went the other day to watch the opening of a grammar school. And it turned out to be flawless. People are operating outside smoothly. They deliver their children and they are having an education finally. So that's a great thing. There have been some school issues that have surfaced, but has not been, no information is available to the taxpayers of our town, because what are the issues and how will these be resolved without public knowledge? We as a community of 27,000 people are really responsible for what goes on in our schools and in our town. So we need to know what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and how we're going to resolve those kinds of issues. And this goes back to our issues in regard to last summer at the graduation. And we need to make sure that the issues are communicated to the general public, because our community cannot make any remedies to the situation without knowing what the situation is. So that's my take on what's going on in the school system. But Rick, you got anything that you want to address right now?
No, there's nothing I want to address. Just respectfully ask the voters of Danvers to find it in their the research that they've done on me and the various Facebook, social media information I put out there. That I hope you find that I'm a good candidate, and I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 4th.
Thank you. And the one thing that I like to announce is I'll read off the list of different positions, the important positions that are being contested. On our town elections and town meeting moderator is Patricia Fraser is running on unopposed. She's the town moderator, and she has done an excellent job, and we wish her well. Last year, she had to go in on a sign in vote because she forgot to file her papers. But this year she got them in. The next one are the Board of Selectmen or Select Board. Matthew Duggan, Rick Betancourt, Gardner Trask, and Tim Donahue. Now on the school committee, we have that, and the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board is 2 seats. One is wide open and the other one is being contested as an incumbent, Gardner Trask. School committee has 2 open seats, totally open. Robin Doherty is one contestant. Alice Campbell and Johan Hunter. And yours favorite, Mark Zubarek. Now, last Saturday was the first time I've ever met any of the 3 ladies that are running for school committee. So being in town government for 35 years, this is an interesting race because it's more by the educators than it is by the residents. Final comments. We have 15 minutes left. And what I'd like to do is, Michael, why don't you give us your final comments and we'll, continue from there.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to have you and Mr. Betancourt back on the show. We're on here together. Again, I'm just reaching out, asking for the people, the voters of Danvers to vote for me on Tuesday, May 4th for a library trustee. I've been there a long time. We've done a lot of good things there, and we have work to do. We're going to be hiring a new library director, search for a director, and getting that building open and offering the services that people need. But if they would kindly vote for me on May 4th, I would much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Rick, how about you?
I would say since the campaign started, any opportunity that I've had to be on a show, be on a candidate forum, or whatever it is, I've attended every single one. I'm the only candidate here today. I understand we all have jobs and we work and things of that nature, but I've made time, and I hope that my commitment to the electoral process and what I've been doing since I pulled papers February 1 is also people consider that when they go to vote. I've been holding signs almost every morning for the last 2 weeks downtown Danvers before work, and holding signs on the weekends. I've had some great conversations with some constituents have called me and asked questions about some of the issues. A nice gentleman I met the other day wanted to ask about some concerns in personnel and in Danvers, and I give the most objective answer that I can. I'm not in the town right now. I don't know what's going on, but we talked about that. So I just hope that people will look at my involvement in this from the beginning, from like I said, from January, and consider that and say he's a passionate guy. He's serious. I'd like to think I'm fairly articulate. I think I'm a good communicator to people, and as I said previously, I'm a very good listener. But I just hope that's what they consider that when they come to the polls on May 4th and vote. I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't care if you vote for me. I do care if you vote for me, but if you don't vote for me, fine. But just go vote, because nothing is more frustrating for the candidates, all of us, when we have a continuously historic low voter turnout for Danvers elections every single year. And yet we hear people bee and moan, you know what that bee means, but where can people bee and moan every year about certain things, and you can find out that they didn't vote. And if you don't like the way it is, then change it, vote. but just at least do your civic duty, and whether you vote for me and one other guy or two other guys and not me, or just go to the polls and vote. Do your job. You know, you're a constituent of the town, and go vote. It's open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We even had early voting last Saturday. I hope a bunch of y'all did that. I know I have 7 or 8 of my friends are actually going on vacation, and they voted for me, but they went to early voting. That's what it was for, right? And so just go do your job and vote, and that's the part of being a citizen of the town, and that's how you make the changes. So, but just at least bare minimum do that, and vote for people and for the candidates that's on the ballot.
Rick, the early voting was a very enthusiastic, I believe the number is 153 individuals voted. And the one surprising thing is they opened the door to the town hall and they actually went in to vote.
Wow.
Surprise, surprise. I was standing on the corner of Sylvan Street down there and watching the operation, and it was encouraging to see that the town hall front door was actually open. So congratulations to the town manager and the clerk, Catherine Ellsworth, for conducting the elections inside the building.
I also want to just say, Miss Ellsworth came in, after Joe retired, and I'll just simply say that I think she's done a phenomenal job in there. She was super polite and accommodating with me, and I know the other candidates when it came to pulling papers and answering questions. And I've even had a few of my friends that are running for town meeting for the first time, and they were like, "Wow, she was awesome." So I think Miss Ellsworth has done a fabulous job. I just want to throw that out there, get that on the record. And as far as the town hall and our other public buildings, the facts are facts. 54% of 54% of Danvers is one dose. You're almost 35% are fully vaccinated. 52% of the Commonwealth with 34% are fully vaccinated. There's low transmission rates in that particular building. You can establish PPE. You can establish a safe environment. People are going to school. People are going to shop, and they're going to dinners. They're going out. They're doing all of these things. And I understand some of the services can be done via online or whatnot. People are getting stickers at Danvers Hardware, but I and many of my friends and family in this town are of the opinion that it's time that we open the town hall and we go back to normal services for our constituents. And I think the data there supports it. If somebody else can show me data that doesn't, I'm happy to look at that. But I tend to want a policy based on facts and stats instead of just feelings and concerns. So I think we're in a position at this point now where we can effectively open up our buildings for our people.
Well, we still have to take personal responsibility for some of the methods that we practice. When we had the flu, we practiced certain, requirements of our sneezing and our sniffling and all that. So I hope that this continues. And what I understand is that on May 6th, I believe that the Board of Selectmen's meeting, the town manager supposedly is putting together a plan to further open the town hall and the buildings in Danvers.
Great. It's awesome.
So that'll be a step forward. And maybe I'll start showing up the open door at Town Hall at the end of the show. I've been using that for a year. But what I like to do is my final comments is that we need a school board or a school committee, and we need an independent school committee that must lead and not just follow, making the education process more open and obvious. We need to involve the entire community. We need to listen to them, getting community feedback, input, and putting it into action. improvement of expectations, technology, and standards. We need to improve our quality of education so our students can compete with the rest of the state and the rest of the country. So my position is I have done different jobs in the past, but I think what we need is somebody to go into the school committee and actually represent the rest of the Danvers community and make things better. Now, Rick, David, if you could please put out the last slide. And that is I want to thank all of the candidates, not just us three, but there is a courage in grace under pressure. This is a Ernest Hemingway quote I've been using in the past. And we, as candidates, have volunteered ourselves to be put out in front and explain or present our views, because these views will become views of the entire town. So we need to listen to all of the constituents. We have been approached. I know I have during the campaigning. I have talked to many people, but this is not an easy job for any one of us. That's why I'm using this courage is grace under pressure. And we are going to be under pressure from our constituents because we have chosen to be elected or to run for this position. So thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. And what I have for the other item on this spreadsheet is that our next broadcast is going to be on May 6th, 2021, which is the same evening as the Board of Selectmen. And I hope they go back to their 7 o'clock time frame instead of 5:30. I don't know what's better, 5:30 or 7. We have our show at 5 o'clock, and we're hoping to participate in some of the elected offices that we're pursuing. So maybe on the 6th, we'll have Rick sitting at the Board of Selectmen's meeting.
I hope so.
And no, you will. And Mike will be continue as chairman of the library trustees.
I hope so.
Well, you hope so. And I intend to sit at the table with the board of school committees and maybe give them some, influence of what's going on in our town.
You do a great job.
So thank you very much, gentlemen, and I appreciate you being part of this program, because I'm conducting this as a public service message, because our residents in town need to hear from our contestants for the Board of Selectmen, the library trustees, school committee, and from all of the town meeting members that are contesting their positions. So thank you very much, and we'll call it quits 1 minute early. So we're doing well. Anything else, Michael?
God bless America. God bless the town of Danvers. Good luck to you guys.
You too,
And
guys.
hopefully we'll all be patting each other on the back next Tuesday night.
That sounds good, buddy.
All right. See you guys at the polls.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night, Danvers.